Back on Sportsbook, betting insight today. Pauly and Teddy, big game breakdown as always. Live odds, sportsbookreview.com. Monday Night Football, Houston and the Raiders. Raiders 645 the total. Azteca Stadium, 7,400 feet, more than 2,000 feet above Denver. Great for punters and place kickers. Janikowski could probably hit from 65 easy if they want to try it, but neither traveled in until Sunday night to get acclimated. And Houston did play at Denver earlier in the season with the elevation, but they were beat 27-9, so maybe they didn't learn anything. Donald Penn, left tackle for the Raiders, good quote, played college ball at Utah State, 4,500 feet. I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat it. It's going to be rough. The thing is, whenever that second win hits, then you're good. But you hope that second win hits early. It's an interesting handicap, Teddy.
It is. Did you see where the locker rooms are for this game?
Yeah, wild.
They were built just for the game. They're out in the parking lot. So basically, essentially, the team's going to have to climb up through the stands and outside the stadium to reach their lockers after pregame warm-ups and at halftime. So, I mean, again, when you talk about randomness, and we like less randomness, in this situation, there's clearly more randomness. And look, the Raiders went into the bye. They were red hot. 7-2. They had 3 straight wins. And in general, I like teams coming out of the bye off a loss or a couple of losses, not off of 3 straight wins. Those teams tend to come out and play like their hair is on fire. Sometimes the 3 straight win teams, a little bit fat and happy, and then come out and have a real momentum killer. Think no further than the Minnesota Vikings earlier this season. Then you get the quote from Khalil Mack. Quote, "It's easy when you got a group like this." And of course, Khalil Mack is a real leader on that team, on and off the field. It's easy when you got a group like this. Everybody's focused. Everybody's ready to keep the pedal to the metal and keep winning. That's what it's all about. I'm glad we have a focused group like this. And, you know, when you think about this Raiders team, they're still allowing 6.4 yards per play. That's dead last in the NFL. But they had 3 consecutive strong games in a row before the bye. So you say, what are the markets not seeing clearly? What are the markets, what's lying? The Raiders' overall defensive stats are lying right now. They're still dead last in the NFL, but they're playing better than the numbers are going to show.
Yes, Houston comes in at 6-3, 5-0 at home, 1-3 on the road. They're 6-3. They've been outscored by 27 points. They have one of the best weapons in the game in Hopkins, but they can't get him the ball. You look at this graphic, his yards per catch, 2013 through 15, 14.2. This year, 10.7. Osweiler is 31st in passer rating, only ahead of Gabbert and Fitzpatrick. I think a big part of this, though, Teddy, is scheme. They aren't taking any chances, especially when they're on the road.
Well, there's another part of it, too, and that's Will Fuller. Because remember, it's supposed to be Hopkins on the one side. Fuller's a speedster. He's a game breaker. He's their number 1 pick. He's been banged up in and out of the lineup. Hasn't really been the factor they thought he was going to be. One of a number of Houston Texans and key players, talking like Vince Wilfork on the defensive line and Fuller. There's a handful of others who are listed as questionable tonight. This is one of those games you definitely want to check the injury report in the hours up leading up till kickoff. But see the Osweiler quote. You know, in every game plan, we try to get the ball to Hop. He's our number 1 receiver, and that's what you do in the NFL. You try to find ways to scheme plays to get the ball to your number 1 wide receiver, as well as your other guys. But there's a million different ways you can win games in this league. I think we proved that Sunday. We proved that throughout the year. We've won in different ways, so I'm not going to say we have to get this guy going or this guy needs more touches. At this time of the year, the keys to winning games are running the ball, protecting the ball, playing great defense and special teams. Honestly, I agree with Osweiler. At the same time, at this time of year, the keys to winning games are getting something out of your damn quarterback. There's a reason that John Elway didn't pay Brock Osweiler the money and went with Trevor Siemian at a much cheaper price. Osweiler so far has not been worth his $72 million contract. But the Raiders, Pauly, the Raiders, not an easy team to lay points with. They've been winning games. They have not been winning games by margin.
Well, unique scenario, too, because even though it's in Mexico City, it is a home game for the Raiders where they're going to have most of the fans. So
that is true. I mean, in terms of though there's a decent fan base of the Texans. I'm interested to see that. I know the Raiders tend to have a larger fan base in areas outside of Oakland than most teams, but I'm not convinced it's going to be all Raider fans.
Research before you bet. Be sure to check out SPR Picks for the best game predictions, breakdowns, and much, much more.